Hello angels, welcome back. Very straightforward video today. I'm gonna prove to you that you are a miracle based on statistics. It's as simple as that. No, mumbo jumbo, no, I don't believe in that. No, this is simple math. I want you to tell me what you think the statistical probability of 2 million people getting together and each and every single one of them throwing a trillion-sided dice. What do you think the probability is that all 2 million people get the exact same face of the dice that has a trillion faces in one try? 0. It's basically 0. That's the exact probability of you being here. Let's start small. What is the probability of your dad meeting your mom? The possibility of your dad meeting exactly your mom based on like where they lived and where they traveled and what they did for the first 20 years of their lives is 1 in 200 million. That's 200 million women that could have been your mom instead of her. Now, in this 20 years, of those 200 million women, your dad actually met and like crossed paths, speaking wise, with around 20,000 women. So the odds of him meeting your mom are 1 in 20,000. But that's just him meeting her. Like, we all know how tricky love can be. Like, you've met so many people in your life and you've never, you don't fall in love with everyone. So the probability of them after meeting staying together long enough to actually have kids is 1 in 2,000. So far the odds of you being here in the planet right now are 1 in 40 million. So far. This is where it gets into really, really big numbers because we're gonna talk about the sperm and the egg that made you. The odds that the egg and the sperm that made you actually came together and, made your life. This is how huge the number is. Like, I can't even read it. The odds of that are 1 in 400 quadrillion. 1 in 400 quadrillion. And if you still don't think that that's big enough, you need to understand that for you to be here, all of the things that I just described had to happen with your grandparents and your other grandparents, and then your great-grandparents from this side, and then your great-grandparents from this side. It's also worth noting that like the egg and the sperm that came together to make you are so specific. You can't be like, well, if it wasn't that egg and that sperm, then I'd still be here. No, because then that could be your brother, and that's your brother or your sister or that's another person. Like, it had to be that specific sperm and that specific egg for you to be here out of the million that it could have been. So if you even attempt to calculate how all of those odds add up together, like your grandparents had to meet, they had to fall in love, they had to get married, same thing with your mom's parents, and so on, that becomes 1 in 10 to the power of 45,000, and that's a 10 with 45,000 zeros after this, just so you can picture it. But if you add the huge numbers of the right sperm meeting the right egg so that it was your grandpa that was born and your dad that was born and your grandma that was born specifically, it becomes 1 in 10 to the power of 2,640,000. And then you add all of this up, all of it. Now we're getting to the number that it's the real number of how likely it is that you're here. And all of that added up is 1 in it's 1 in 10 to the power of 2,685,000. Let me give you some comparisons. The number of atoms in the average body atoms are 10 to the power of 27. The number of atoms making the entire Earth are 10 to the power of 50. And the number of atoms that the universe is estimated to be made out of are 10 to the power of 80. 80! And the probability of you being here is 1 in 10 to the power of 2,685,000. Think of it like this. If you got 2 million together and gave each and every one of them a trillion-sided dice, and they all threw it at the exact same time, the probability of them all getting the exact same number is the exact same probability of you being here. The odds of you existing are basically 0. You're an impossibility, you're a miracle, and you can't ever forget that. Tell me you're not a miracle now. I'm sorry. Explain yourself to me when you think you're not a miracle, or you're not unique, or you're not here for a reason. You are.